experiences with our spiritual realm is a very intimate thing. And I have had experiences on many islands. Kāne is the night we don't go out. It's a specific moon night. It's closest to the darker moons, the waning moons. And one of my favorite experiences, we weren't protesting, we were affirming our love of kupuna, our love of elders. They were going to build this huge resort over in Kona. And there was about 8 of us that came for a 24-hour prayer vigil. And every hour on the hour, we decided we weren't protesting. We were affirming our love of that place, because it was, it's kind of like a burial ground for thousands of my people. And so every hour on the hour, we did our prayers and we did our protocols and we did our cleansings. And we also spoke about our favorite elders, our favorite kupuna. And so we laughed the whole night long. We did our prayers, and then we spoke about our favorite elders, our favorite kupuna. That had long passed. And at around midnight, it started to happen. I remember sitting around, there was 8 of us, and it was as if this loudspeaker of chanters just started chanting with the pahu, the drums. And we all looked at each other and we said, "Do you hear that?" And we all looked at each other. "No, we hear that, we hear that, we hear that." And then it kept chanting and chanting, and the drums and the drums and the drums and the drums. And we just were chicken skin for hours. And it was throughout the whole night till around 4, as the sun was beginning to, stir in the horizon. And that's just one of the experiences. And what happened, I just want to let you know, after that affirmation, after we felt completely safe, grateful, in awe, and strengthened by the resolve of our kupuna to be present with us. And so this is what happened. I think it was 2 days later, a day later, the judge ruled against the development, and that pu'u was saved. That area, that burial ground, was not developed. And we knew it had to be connected to the energy of our joy, of our commitment, and of the reflection that our kupuna had in that evening for us. And I'm changed because of those experiences. And many, many of us have had many experiences like that. And we don't hardly share them, but that one was so public. I have to tell you, we felt the whole neighborhood was awoken by that chanting. And but these experiences are because we're not afraid of the spiritual world. The spiritual world is a part of our life here in beloved Hawaii. And when you make that, when you're not afraid of the unknown then becomes part of your teaching base. And I have lots to learn by my teachers, and they are the winds, the rains, the clouds, the sunrises, and the spirits of our beloved ancestors. And so, and especially in our dreams. So we value our ike moi, the knowledge gained from our dreams. And those are just as tangible as these experiences. I'd like to also talk about ulaleo. Ulaleo is our word for mystical voice. And I was in Auckland. It's a night voice, and you hear it as a dream, and it wakes you up. And I've had 2 ulaleo in my life. One of them was in Auckland, and I was reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and this voice woke me up, and it said, "Death does not limit us. Our thoughts on death limit us." And I just wrote that down, because I was half asleep, and then I read it in the morning, and it was amazing. And death doesn't limit us. Our thoughts on death limit us. Another ulaleo came when we were developing a youth food sovereignty event in Hilo. And it was food sovereignty. I was trying to call it IAEA or something, food sovereignty. It was just silly. So I was waiting for a name to call this event. And EA for us means sovereignty, EA. So I was going to call it IAEA or something. It was just silly. But an ulaleo woke me up the night I was looking, and this voice said, EA does not mean sovereignty. It means freedom. I was like, wow, it means freedom. So just like we're learning to not describe the lower, you always got to describe the higher in life. So sovereignty is to freedom, as money is to relationship, as Siddhartha Gautama is to Buddha. When you describe the higher, you have the capacity to inhabit that idea. So Ea means freedom, yeah. So we call the event Ho'ea Ea, Ho'ea Ea, return to freedom with freedom. You know what I mean? It's like Ho'oponopono, you return to truth with truth. Ho'ovaivai, you make wealth by giving. Wealth is retained by giving. So when you have those words that double, it means you use that energy to create that energy. So Ho'ea Ea became freedom is affirmed by freedom. So that was the name of our youth food sovereignty conference in Hilo about 12 years ago. So yeah, these experiences come, and we are students to these lessons that we learn from the trans-spatial world of mystery, of the unknown, and of our ancestral connections. Great question. Yeah. Mahalo. Thanks, you guys.